Hello there.
The Emperor has been expecting you.
What is up, everybody? Josh here with Lorgasm, and today let's talk about WandaVision, because oh my god, my mind is still blown. This episode has been the longest one so far, and it is awesome. It was 42 minutes with credits. Awesome. We start the episode with Wanda and Vision trying to stop the babies from crying. They're shaking the babies, rocking them back and forth, and they start doing a sort of a dance, and Wanda says it's almost like they're on a date. And then she gets the idea of sending Vision into the other room to get the binkies, and then she tries her magic on the babies, but it doesn't work. They're not affected by her magic at all, and that's crazy. Vision then comes back in the room with the binkies and gives them to the babies, and they just spit them out and keep crying. And Wanda mentions that maybe they can use like a little help, and then bam, like clockwork, Agnes comes in. She says she can hear the babies outside and she just wanted to help. And the Vision's like, no, we got it. And then everything stops. The background music stops, the laugh track stops, the baby stops crying, and Agnes looks Wanda dead in the face and says, oh, do you want me to take it from the top? Like, what? She's got to be in on this somehow. She has to be somehow in on this. There's no way she's not. She's definitely a part of this. Vision then looks at her and is like, what? What'd she say? What's going on? And then Wanda looks at Vision and just says, oh, I think we should just give her a chance. And then everything starts back up. The babies start crying again. The laugh track hits. Wanda and Vision then start bickering about what's going on, because Vision wants to know, like, what was that? And he's getting really suspicious lately. And while that's happening, the babies finally stop crying, and they're like, oh. So they go over there and check, and they're not even in their cribs anymore. And all they hear is two voices behind them saying, Mommy, Daddy. They turn around, and the boys are already 5 years old. Agnes is standing right there, and they're 5 years old. Jesus. And she just sits there unfazed. She didn't even freaking realize that they aged up. So she definitely has to be a part of this. After that, we get the intro, and it's kind of has like a Family Ties and Growing Pains vibe. Growing Pains had the picture change, and the music sound more like Family Ties. Surprisingly, they didn't do like a Full House intro. Full House started in '87, and Elizabeth Olsen is Mary-Kate and Ashley's little sister, and they played Michelle in Full House. But towards the end, they were eating a picnic, and then it was panning out, and that happens exactly in the Full House intro. After that, we cut to Monica, and she's in the med bay getting checked up after being blasted out of Westview, and she is being questioned on what it felt being inside the town. And she said she felt grief. And was that Wanda's grief that she felt, or was it like her own being amplified, and that was what was letting her be susceptible to being controlled? Don't know. She's also getting her clothes tested, her blood tested, and then Darcy and Jimmy come in and say, hey, we got a briefing here soon, so get ready. And then the medical staff comes back and was like, we got no results from your testing. We're gonna have to do more testing. And Monica's like, no. Let's get to the briefing. We're good. So Jimmy is heading up the briefing, and he's explaining everything that's going on, and freaking Hayward, the director of S.W.O.R.D., just keeps twisting everything to make Wanda seem like the worst. Like, oh, she is a terrorist, she kidnapped all these people, she blew up that building in Lagos, she was part of the Sokovia crap, destroyed the, everything. And then Jimmy's like, it's not that simple. Like, yeah, she may have joined Hydra, but it was to stop people from attacking Sokovia and stuff. It's like they were tired of being oppressed and then having Stark weapons just come over and kill everybody. So it's like, it's more complicated. She's not just a terrorist. And Monica's like, yeah, no, she's not a terrorist. She could have killed me if she wanted to. She could have killed all of us if she wanted to. No, she just blasted me out and I hit the ground. That was it. She could have killed me if she wanted to. Like, she's not a terrorist. There's no political means to this. She didn't hurt anybody, really. And then that's when Hayward's like, oh yeah? Bust out the security cams of Wanda breaking into the S.W.O.R.D. and destroying everything to find a scientist dissecting Vision's body, getting Vision, and then taking him. Now this Actually, Paul Bettany mentioned that there was a deleted scene from Endgame that had this exact thing, Wanda breaking into a building, taking Vision's body. So I don't know if they reshot some of the stuff to make a sword, or if it was exactly like this. Like, this is what they had planned. They said that this happened 9 days ago. So that means it took her about a week and a half to 2 weeks to find who had Vision's body, and then she's been in this bubble for about a week or two, and that's when we see her come in at the beginning of episode 1. Like, she steals the body, she takes over Westview. And what makes Westview so special? Is it the CMPR that's around Westview? Is one of the Infinity Stones that got destroyed, that one of those get actually sent to Earth, and it's like chemical makeup is actually around this city? Is Mephisto actually in control of all this, or Agnes, or somebody else? Is that why this city is so special to have, like, Wanda be able to do anything? Because she says in this episode she cannot bring dead people back. Now, is she lying? I don't know. If somebody else is doing it and helping her out, maybe. After that, we cut back to the show and we see Billy and Tommy washing something in the sink, saying, "Oh, I hope Mom lets us keep it." And then Wanda comes in and is like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" And they're like, "Nothing." And then a dog barks, and they're like, she's like, "Ooh, I don't know if you could keep a dog. It's a lot of responsibility." And then she's like, "Ooh, it's cute though. Let's keep it." And then Vision walks in and says hello to everybody. And Wanda's like, "Why are you being so formal?" And he's like, "Well, I feel like somebody's about to just pop up with exactly what we need." And knock, 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 bam, Agnes walks in with a doghouse. Exactly what they need. So he's super sussed out about everything. She helps the kids kind of figure out what they want to name the dog. It bites on a plug and it gets shocked. So they're like, "Oh, let's call it Sparky," which is a callback to Vision number 2, where Vision's neighbor's dog, Zeke, died. And Vision brought it back to life with some other people as a synthezoid dog named Sparky. And then it actually got beat to death, and then Wanda brought it back to life. So that's a nice little Easter egg there. When they decide on Sparky, Wanda actually just makes a collar, makes the little dog tags that Sparky on it, with Agnes standing right there, but she's not paying attention. And Vision's like, "Yo, what the heck? Why? We're supposed to be hiding our powers. Why are you doing that?" And Wanda's just like, "I'm tired of hiding our powers." And he's like, "Yo, that's messed up. Like, come on." She's standing right there, and she's like, "Yeah, she didn't even notice the kid grew up. She's not gonna notice this. Freaking stupid." Him and Wanda agree that the boy shouldn't have a dog until they're a little older, a little more responsible, at the age of 10. So then the boys look at each other and they nod, and then bam, they just age up, which is freaking crazy, because Agnes is right there again. That's 2 times in the same day that they aged up in front of Agnes. And she just goes, "Oh, I hope the dog stays the same size," as if she didn't even realize it. She is 100% part of this. We cut back to Sword, and then Monica and Darcy are trying to figure out how to get Monica actually back into the bubble, or as what Darcy's calling it now is the Hex, because of all the hexagons, which is a cool callback to the comics, because one of the names for Wanda's magic is actually called Hex Magic. The main name is Chaos Magic or Wild Magic, but it's another name is Hex Magic. So Monica wants to actually go back into the Hex and is trying to figure out like how to get in. And then Jimmy starts asking if anybody got like a hit on the kids, like are the kids kidnapped, where do they come from? And then Monica's like, no, those are actually her kids, like she birthed them in there. And then Jimmy's like, "Yo, if she can like just manifest kids, like she's got some power that we don't even have on record. Like she's got some strong power." And then Monica said, "Well, she is the one who almost beat Thanos." And Jimmy's like, "Well, I feel like Captain Marvel could have done it." "No, Jimmy, you're supposed to be one of us. You're supposed to be one of the good guys. Captain Marvel got like a few hits, maybe a headbutt." Wanda beat him. She was gonna kill him, and he got scared. He started raining down missiles across the whole battlefield. Wanda would have killed him. Captain Marvel only got a few little baby hits in. I thought you were better than that, Jimmy. I really did. Monica says, oh no, we're not talking about her right now. So I feel like there was a lot of resentment when she said that. Her face looked like, maybe because she hasn't shown up in 30 years, maybe because she wasn't there when Monica's mom died, or, I don't know. I'm really thinking it's the 30-year thing. Monica realized when she walked in the Westview that, yeah, her clothes changed, but they didn't actually change. Like, the chemical makeup of her clothes did not change, just the look of them changed, like to fit the time period. So then she walks into the other room where her clothes are sitting, and she starts shooting at it, and realized that those clothes that look like the from the 70s are actually made of Kevlar, because she was wearing a bulletproof vest when she walked in. And then she started to wonder, what would happen if we send something that is time period appropriate into the Hex? This is where we cut back into the show, and Vision is actually helping set up the computers for his office. They have a new computer set up, and he's hooking up the internet. And as he hooks up the internet, while he's talking to Norm, they get a message from Sword. It was like an accidental, like, just got sent in there, of saying that everyone in Westview is being affected by the Maximoff effect, but they don't know how they're being affected. And Vision's just like, what? But all the people that are around him say it at the exact same time. Like, it's creepy as heck. And then they all just start laughing as if it's a joke. And then Norm's like, yo, it's just they're kidding. Just send them a message back. And Vision's like, hold up, come here. And then just zaps his actual mind back without Wanda's control. And Norm starts freaking out. He's like, where's my phone? I gotta call my sister. Everything hurts. Like, it hurt to be under control. So Vision just zaps him back into Wanda's control. And it's like, what is going on around here? But then I feel like he finally starts to realize what's actually happening. After that, we cut back to Wanda and the boys, and they're playing with a dog. And they stop and they're like, hey, where's Dad? And Wanda's like, oh, it's Monday, he had to go back to work. And they're like, no, when we woke up it was Saturday. So that's another point that they're not actually affected by their mother's magic. So Wanda made everybody else in the town feel like it's Monday, but then they're like, no, it's Saturday, like nothing happened to us. And then she's like, well, he had to go into an emergency at work, and we needed like a day apart. We're not really syncing with each other right now. And then she starts telling them how family is forever. And then they ask her if she has family. She's like, yeah, I had a brother, but he's far away right now.
You didn't see that coming.
And then they start to hear a noise, and so they go outside to check what that noise is. And then we cut over to Sword, and we see Monica actually looking at Westview through a monitor, because she's flying a drone within Westview, and it's a drone from the 80s. And she flies down to Wanda's house, and she's like, Wanda, we need to talk. And Wanda's eyes start to glow red. And then Hayward's like, shoot her. And Monica's like, yo, this isn't even armed. It's an old drone. And then Hayward's like, shoot her. So he armed it with missiles to shoot Wanda, as if he wanted to start a freaking fight. Like, this is one of the most powerful people in the universe, and you want to just shoot her with a little drone missile? Are you trying to start a fight? She almost killed Thanos. She was gonna kill Thanos, and you're just shooting her with a little baby missile? And you think that's gonna stop her? And it doesn't. All we hear is perimeter breach, and then Wanda just walks out of the Hex with the drone, tosses it at them, and is like, yo, this is your last warning, don't mess with me, stay out of my home. And Hayward's like, you have all those people taken, you're a terrorist. And she's like, yeah, but you're the ones with the guns. And then Monica walks up and she's like, hey, I can help you. And Wanda just looks at her like, oh, you're still here? Do you want to get blasted again? And Monica's like, just let me help. Like, I could get you whatever you want. And Wanda's like, I already got what I want. Just leave me alone. And She forces all the gun guys to point at Hayward, and she just walks back into the hex. The hex starts to turn red. I didn't see any specific shape. I was hoping they'd do like a devil shape. That would have been cool. And then as soon as she walks in, all the guns like point down. After that, we cut to the next commercial. And this one is Lagos brand paper towels. When you make a mess that you don't mean to. And this is clearly a callback to Civil War when Wanda saved the whole the street people in Lagos from Crossbones blowing up by sending him up in the air, but it also, by doing that, blew up part of a building and killed a bunch of people. And then she got blamed, of course, not Crossbones for freaking blowing up, but she did. After that, we cut back to the boys and Wanda, and they're looking for Sparky. He's missing. They pass by the mailman, and he's like, your mom won't let him get far. But when we find Sparky, Agnes actually has him wrapped in a towel and says that he ate her azalea flower leaves, which are super freaking toxic. They're so toxic, in fact, that in some countries they actually have bees specifically take the nectar from these flowers and make honey out of it, and it's called mad honey, and it gets you high. But the boys, they look at their mom, they're like, hey, bring them back to life. We know you can do that, which, as I said, happened in the comic books. And she's like, yo, I can't bring things back to life. Liar. Unless you're getting help, but still, liar. And the boys are like, alright, let's age up. And she's like, no, don't do that. Don't run from your problems. You need to face them. Aging up isn't gonna change anything. And they're like, yeah, but we're sad. Just bring them back. Please bring them back. And then Vision walks up and he's like, bring who back? And then he sees that the dog's dead. And then he hugs the boys and apologizes. And we see Wanda's face. And it looks like she's regretting everything that's happened. Also at this point, Agnes, when she hears that Wanda can bring things back to life, she's like, oh, you can do that? It seemed really interested in this power. After that, we cut back to the house. It's nighttime, and Wanda's picking up toys, and Vision's walking in with his sleeves rolled up, and he goes to wash his hands, and he's like, it's not very often you get to own a dog and then bury the dog in the same day. And then this is where things go off the chain. Vision reveals what he discovered with Norm to Wanda, and she plays dumb. She acts like she doesn't know anything he's talking about. And he's like, Wanda, you can control all these people, but you can't control me. And she's like, can't I? Bam, credits start to roll. And he's like, no. We're not ending this. And he kept pushing for info, and then he's like, maybe you didn't realize what you were doing at first, but you're really hurting these people. And Wanda's like, I'm not doing anything. And then Vision starts floating. He's like, don't lie to me. And he yells it at her. And then she starts floating up and saying, I'm just doing this for us. And Vision's just like, what's happening outside of here? I don't even remember what's happened before we lived here. Like, I don't remember anything. And Wanda's like, you don't want to know. And then Vision's like, you can't make that choice for me. And then Wanda's like, you've never talked to me like this before. So he doesn't remember anything from Ultron, absorbing Ultron, I guess that's what he did. Infinity War, dying, nothing. He doesn't remember anything. He says, you're my husband and the father to our kids. Isn't that enough? And then he starts to question, like, why are there no other kids in town? I haven't seen any kids around here, especially after episode 2 when there was the fundraiser for the children, and then there's no children anywhere. But we know that children do come because in the trailer, in the Halloween episode, we see kids everywhere. Wanda starts to get defensive, saying, you really think that I control everything around here? You think I control people living their mundane lives, going to like the dentist and stuff? I don't do that. Which is a hint that there might be somebody else actually controlling all of that. Mephisto. And then like clockwork, the doorbell rings. And Vision just looks at her like, seriously? She's like, it wasn't me. I didn't do this. And Vision's like, can you blame me for not believing you though? And then Wanda goes and answers the door. Ooh, it's crazy again. Wanda goes and answers the door, and we see a back shot and silver hair. Vision looks over and he's like, who is that? And then Wanda looks at him and is like, Pietro? And it cuts to his face, and it's actually Evan Peters playing Quicksilver.
You didn't see that coming.
And if you actually watch it with the audio description, it says he's playing the Quicksilver from the X-Men movies. This is just freaking crazy. Like, did the multiverse get broken open to bring him there? Did he just happen to live in this? Like, what's going on? And then we cut back to Darcy, and she's watching the show on the TV, and she's like, "Whoa!" She recast her brother. Vision just looks confused. He did meet the Quicksilver in Ultron, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. He also can't remember anything from before living here, so he wouldn't know. Quicksilver just walks in and points at him and says, "Who's this popsicle?" And then bam, ends the episode. This episode was freaking crazy. So much went on. This is the longest episode. It was awesome. I liked the little callback to Hex. I liked the callback to Sparky, or the Easter egg of Sparky. The boys just aging up was crazy. Wanda and Vision almost actually going at it, which I think they're going to do by the end of the season. Quicksilver from X-Men coming back. Crazy. I definitely give this like a 9.8. I think the only way I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 is if there's a nice, like, huge fight between Wanda and Vision. If that never happens, then this was definitely a 10. But right now, this is like a 9.8, 9.9. It is so close to perfect. I loved it. There's just so much going on, and I hope the last 4 episodes after this are all at least 42 minutes long, because having this longer episode was awesome. I do think that somebody's helping Wanda control everybody, or maybe she's not even in control and she just has partial control. I don't know. Her busting out of the Hex and confronting Sword, that was so cool. This was just an all-around awesome episode. Yeah, 9.8, 9.9, 9.9. I'll go with that. 9.9 out of 10. That's all I got for you today. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.